gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the GFreak Speaks podcast, episode number 39. This podcast is brought to you by absolutely bloody nobody. So if you guys want to sponsor the podcast, check it out, slide into the DMs, and hey, we're available to be sponsored, okay? So check us out. We can get something sorted. But joining us today is my boy, Exodus, the CEO and founder of the EXO Clan. Welcome, man. How you doing?
Thank you. Lovely to be here, man.
It's great to have you on board. Shout out to Ace, the man, for getting this connection happening.
The homie.
From True Apparel, absolute legend. Go check out their merchandise, ladies and gentlemen. But look, man, what's been happening, man? You've been well. It's great that we're finally talking in camera person, not in person.
It's close enough, man. I mean, I can see the pixels moving. It kind of does the same, I guess. No, it doesn't. I lied. No, I've been good. Life's been interesting, you know, kind of. I'm on the other side of the world now. I moved out of Australia, and it's a bit of an adjustment. Like, I was in the UK for 6 months, and it was nice, but I think where I was, it wasn't really like my thing. Like, I'm a city boy, so I was out in the country in the UK, man, and just waking up every morning and smelling like horse shit just wasn't for me. Like it's not a thing that I enjoy, but it's been good, kind of just getting used to the pace of life on this side of the world. And right now I'm in Sweden. Don't like it here. Not a fan. I walk out the door and I make this joke all the time, but like people are walking the street or whatever they're doing, and I can't speak Swedish. So to me, it just sounds like they're yapping at each other, like hurta.
Yeah.
Like it's the weirdest thing, and I'm just I just feel so out of place here. But I've been good. Aside from that, very good.
That's good, man.
That's the benefit of doing the job I do, and that's I can be anywhere at any time.
Anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
3 cabs will get you there. No, they won't. That's interesting, man. Sweden. So what are you doing? So you went to the UK and then you went to Sweden. Why? From Australia? Why, dude?
Honest story? Shit, dude. It's an adventure, right? So I'm going to say the first line, and it's going to kind of spoil the entire story. I was in a long distance relationship for about a year and a half.
Yep.
And I just felt like Australia wasn't the place that I wanted to end up. Like, I always had planned to either move to America or Europe in the long run. And I didn't really have an idea of which one I wanted to be in. And my partner at the time was in the UK. So at that time, I figured the UK would be the place to go. You know, I didn't want to continuously be like in this long distance relationship, and like it's not fun. Like being in love with someone that's on the other side of the earth, like for just like over a year, like that's just not the ticket. So I hauled ass and went over there. And it didn't work out. Quite simple.
Damn.
Now I'm in Sweden because I am a Swedish citizen. And that's kind of where we're at now. And like with the relationship, like it is what it is, man. Like it's a learning experience, you know. Everyone's like a work in progress, a painting unfinished to be.
I understand, man.
Like that. Yeah. So like shit happens. We keep moving. And hopefully I'm going to go explore America. I did just come back from America about a month ago, and I'll be leaving for America again for TwitchCon in like 3 weeks. So I'm gonna go check that out, suss that out, see if I can get into the country and kind of eat my way over there. And I don't know, man. I'm just kind of bouncing around, very nomadic.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Unpredictable. He's everywhere.
Yeah, man.
I love that.
Keep him guessing, bro.
Keep him guessing, baby. Guess the next move. See the boy.
Exactly.
See the boy. Hey, what even? Can you please explain that meme? Like, city boy, is it just like a typical standard boy, or like, I don't get it. You know how it? You get what I'm saying, yeah?
Yeah, like, no, it's just when I think city boy, I think like, you know, ripped jeans, fucking, or, you know, just someone that's just grown up in the city, just fucking in and out, just, you know, is used to having all these commodities around them, bustling people, like used to the certain pace of life. Whereas a country boy, you know, the exact opposite. You're sitting there thinking he's got overalls on, like chewing some wheat or something, like good howdy or something. I don't know, man. Like maybe not in Australia, but America, yeah.
Howdy. They'd say, "G'day, mate."
G'day, mate. Yeah.
How's it hanging? Want to come into me shack?
I don't think I take up that invite.
Exactly, man. Hey, to touch base back on the long distance relationship, I know that, like, I want to go through it kind of quick because it brings back bad memories. But
Nah,
how does that
it is.
how does that work? Like, you know, you
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's like you meet this person online,
Yeah.
and then you talk to them, I guess, on whatever platform you can, and then you see each other, and then like, is it like, how is it like?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess with like this certain person, I spent basically every moment or every spare moment of every day, like in a Discord call with them or whatever, like, and just kind of getting to know each other and knowing each other at that level. And then obviously, like, being with her was entirely different in a good way at the start. You know, it was really kind of fulfilling, and you know, she was the person that I thought she was when I got there. But of course, as relationships go, when time kind of whittles its way through a relationship, other things start to come up, and I think that was like, I would say it's a mistake, but it wasn't. It wasn't a mistake. Like, I'd do it again. It is what it is. You know, I learned a lot, and it's kind of put me where I am now, which is around. But it's I think one of the happiest moments of my life was like the first week being there with her, and just like being able to hug her, being able to spend time with her, or just like lie on the couch, watch a movie, doing a lot of things that we wanted to be able to consistently do. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing about being in a long distance relationship and not spending like an extended period of time physically with each other is that those demons will come up eventually. So if you are in a long distance relationship, you have to make sure that both people in the relationship are ready to face those demons, because it will happen. Like, nobody's perfect. You know, there are bound to be things that clash, and it'll fuck you up if you don't do it right.
Yeah, understandable, man. Understandable. But wait, we're gonna move on from this shit. Okay, this is sad talk. We're only into the real talk, baby.
Yeah.
Give me the background on the EXO Clan. So, explain to me, what was the motive behind founding this clan?
So originally we were a clout farming clan, like clam. Apparently we're seafood now.
You live in Bikini Bottom with SpongeBob and Patrick.
Under the sea, mate.
Under the sea.
No, we were originally just a clout farming clan. Like, I'm obviously a YouTuber. Not sure if you know that yourself, but I have 330,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I was like one of the biggest like growing YouTubers at the start of Apex. Sheesh. Yeah, and I wanted to kind of shine some light on the talent in Australia by just like creating this clan, EXO Clan. And literally the premise of joining EXO Clan at the start was that you had to be better than me. It was a weird thing. Like,
that's
so
fair enough, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was at the time looked at as someone like not just a content creator, but someone that was like really sweaty, really good at the game. You know, I'd built up some sort of respect within the OC community of Apex for being like good at the game. So I got in contact with Zero. I went to PAX in Melbourne like 3 years ago.
2019.
And met up with Zero. If anyone follows the Apex scene, that's now Dark 00, the one that won the world championship back to back. And yeah, I kind of pitched the idea. I was like, I want to like start a clan. I want to make a video for my YouTube channel and kind of shine some light on these players that are coming out of Australia that deserve much more attention, because the talent that I saw was just ridiculous. And it kind of really annoyed me that just because America was the base of media and esports and that general entire side of the internet and media in general, they just kind of went under the radar entirely. Like, they put in just as much work, they grinded just as hard, they were even better than some of the best players out there. So yeah, I just stuck together 6 players. And the original video is named The Clan That Rules Apex Legends. And that is still on my YouTube channel. At that point, we were just, you know, a clout farming clan. We just ran around and terrorized people on the servers and kind of built up our name that way. Eventually, scrims would start for Apex. And some of the boys ended up playing together. And I wanted to create like an official team for EXO Clan, like like just a roster of like the best team that was scrimming. So I had like multiple different teams running under like different EXO names in these scrims. And the ones that came out on top was MT, Sharky, and Zero, which was the original EXO Clan roster. And they started dominating everything as EXO. Just like we went to a LAN in Brisbane and just dominated it. Like everything that was Apex in Australia, we just sat on top of. Like if you go back and look at the Liquipedia page, it was ridiculous. Like just fast, just winning everything.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? Like we could do something out of this. We could make something out of this. So I registered X Labs Pty Ltd, trading it as EXO Clan. And we started just raining terror on the APAC region as EXO Clan. And that's basically like the origin of it. Obviously, we moved into Valorant soon after and kind of had a lot of, I guess, influence on the OC Valorant team as well by picking up the best team out there. But yeah, we've kind of just grown from there. Like my focus personally has always just been Apex and FPS. So, you know, to the stars with EXO as far as I'm concerned. I have a lot of passion in esports and there's a lot of players out there that deserve much more light. And I hopefully can give it to them and bring them to the world stage.
I love that, man. And watching the World Series of Apex, that was the coolest broadcast ever, man. Those past two
How
splits,
nuts is it?
They were amazing.
Yeah.
That was some of the best broadcasting I've ever seen. The talent there was amazing. And we saw that there was plenty of Aussie talent there. We had Elfish Guy for the first split commentating. Not sure who else we had for the second split for the actual world champs. But then on the player side, I had Bullet on the podcast before that split as well, or after that split. And I know Waltzy, I know Fussy. The only other like content person from Australia is like probably Zeus that I've played with before. Who everyone knows.
Yeah, the laugh, mate.
Yeah. Who else is there? Obviously, you know, I don't know personally, but Jen Burden, and the boys and Sharky and who you mentioned before, would love to get them on the podcast. So hey, if you guys are listening, you know, because Australia's #1 esport podcast, hit me up. We'll get you on.
Yep, that's it.
But yeah, those guys are incredible. Like the fact that the Aussies went there, won the world championship. They won twice, and Jen Burden was out the first time as well. So
yeah, they had a sub. Yeah,
they had a sub. But dude, imagine how spewing you would be, like being him in his hotel room. They fucking won. Like you like when you. I know it's like. How would you feel? Like you'd be like, fuck. I hope they don't win, but I hope they do. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd be so torn. Like
you'd be like,
the thing was, he wasn't even.
Yeah.
He wasn't even experiencing like any really bad COVID symptoms. Like he just, you know, tested positive and they were like, nah, fuck off. And then he just sat there kind of like, okay, and just watched his boys win. I mean, and what did they do with the prize money? I don't even know. Like, how did they?
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I would have said, so it would have, so whatever, if the clan takes any, whatever, and then you'd split that between the 3 original players. And then you would say for Jen Burden, well, half yours and give it to the other guy. Would you say that?
Yeah. Oh, I would probably just go like full even and just like split it quarters after. Yeah.
Quarters?
Yeah. I mean, like JMW put the work in for the actual tournament, but they wouldn't have been there without Jen Burden. So I feel like it's kind of, you know.
Yep.
Mm.
That's probably the safest way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have no one complaining as well.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Then there's no team splits or anything like that and whatnot. Did JW play for another team in the World
at the time,
did he start?
Not this one. I don't think he was at this one. He played for IG when he was subbing in. Did he? I feel like he might have. I don't know. Like so many teams like literally just flew over my head.
Yeah.
At Worlds, you know, I was just obviously tunnel visioned on my own. So
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you who choked. Optic, man. Optic had.
Oh, bro.
I'm a Greenwall fan, in and out. I've been following him since like 09. Okay, hardcore Greenwall. Obviously, if Chiefs is in the same, you know, like Halo, I have to go for Chiefs. Okay, against
of course,
against Optic. But anyway, when Skittle Cakes and dude, they just choked, man. Like they've got such a stacked fucking team from nowhere as well, like Xboxes. And they've just come out of nowhere, and I couldn't believe how badly they performed.
Yeah, I mean, they were in like group stages. They were just fucking farming.
I know.
They were going crazy. Like they won 3 games in a row on day one, like back to back to back. That's just nuts. Like that's absolutely nuts. And then, you know, we went into finals with, we were like, okay, we have to look out for Optic. We have to look out for these teams. But Optic just hard. I mean, we choked as well. I can't really talk, but Optic, like so many people like expected so much of them and they just didn't come through. And I would like to get inside their heads and just like pick out like what exactly they were going at after the tournament. Like how were they looking at their VODs? How were they reviewing their mistakes? Like what went wrong? You know, what went wrong with them? Because like they are incredibly strong team, incredibly strong, and they have proven themselves to be like one of the best in the world. But why did they choke when it came down to the pressure, to the moment?
Yeah.
Like what caused that, you know?
The thing about Optic is that even with COD, since I've been following with COD, every time that you verse Optic, you're always versing the best version of the other team. Because everyone like turns up against Optic. It's as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. So the players that play for Optic are, you could say, arguably are the best in the world. But every time that they verse someone, Apex Legends is different. It's a battle royale. But every time they verse another team, they're always versing the best version of the other team. Because the other team, you know, when you verse a good team, you the adrenaline's pumping, you're doing things, you turn it up, you just do it. I don't know what it is. It's just the endorphins releasing, every adrenaline's pumping, you're just fucking cracked. And that's just what it is. And the pressure, I reckon the pressure probably got to them. And they were just feeling it, you know, oh, we don't want to place lower than what we did last time. And they probably overthought it, man. I really don't know. I'm not sure how much you know about those boys, if you have a relationship with them. But they seem to be kind of quiet guys in the community anyway, those guys, those three. But
they are.
It's crazy. But how did you boys go anyway at the Worlds just gone?
I mean, we were very sad at the end of it. We were very disappointed in ourselves. Obviously, in groups, you were watching, so you know how we went. We absolutely farmed. We were second seed going into winners bracket, so second overall out of 40 teams. And then going into winners bracket, we didn't play the best, but we were fourth. Which was kind of, we just wanted to like make it into finals and then prepare for finals so we would have that extra time and we didn't have to go through losers bracket. So fourth going through winners bracket, which was solid for us. We were like, okay, like finals next, we got to turn it up. But we didn't. We didn't. We played some of the worst Apex we've played in a very long time on finals day. And yeah, there was just a lot of very small mistakes that we made that were kind of in our eyes like rookie mistakes. Whether it was, you know, a miscommunication or whether it was Ziki rotating left of the rock while Killer Pos rotated 2 steps to the right before rotating left, you know, just very like these minor things that a battle royale game really does come down to. Like, you know, we needed to play like out of our minds in finals, and we were picked as the team to win. Like we got the caster's curse as well, so let's blame that as well. So most of the casters picked us to win worlds, and because of that, we didn't. No,
and you guys should be sacked.
Yeah, get out of here! You cost us 500,000. How dare you? No, not at all. Yeah, just a lot of like little minor mistakes that we really shouldn't have made. We were playing just so sloppy, so messy, and I think there was one game where we did kind of turn it up. And I even noticed like the air of the boys that game was just different, but something felt off like the rest of the day. And I think like the vibes were low. The boys were kind of like worn out. There wasn't much preparation as well. And I think the pressure was also really hitting them because they kind of realized that they had a lot of pressure on them. Like, it wasn't just me. Like I wasn't putting pressure on them, of course. Like I was saying, I was proud of them. I was, you know, if you go back and look at my tweets, I even said on like winners bracket, like no matter what happens today, like I'm so proud of the boys. They've come out, they've put on a show, they've kind of shown what our region's made of. But the entirety of Thailand was sitting there cheering for them. You know, there was an entire channel dedicated to it. So they had thousands of people watching and just hoping they would do their best. And I feel like the pressure got to them, and that caused them to make a lot of minor mistakes. Like we've looked back and we've seen the mistakes we've made and what we can do to improve on them, and how to kind of keep our mentals in check for that type of tournament. I mean, I think overall, I'm proud personally. I'm proud I'm proud to have made such a show up on the world stage, you know, get that underdog story going. Like, we may not have finished the story, it might not have been a happy ending, but we scared everyone. And everyone like is fucking scared now. Like, they know that we can bring it, and we will be one of the most like scary teams out there. You know, what, one of the top fighting teams in the world. Like, people are scared to fight us. You know, we kind of just farm everything down. Aside from Furia, I would say that we are the best in the world at fighting, and that's kind of what we are adapting to now, and kind of changing the way we're playing Apex now. I mean, if you, sorry to like ramble on here, but if you look at a recent tournament in Apex, we were placed second after 7 games, but we only had 22 placement points, which means that we were only placing like, you know, top 10. But we were second because we had 49 kill points. So we literally just ran around and just killed everyone. And I think at the end of the tournament, we had 51 kill points, and the team that had the second most kills was on like 39. And with that format as well, we didn't really chase down kills in the last 3 games. So we could have been sitting on like 65, 70 and doubling the amount of kills every other team had, or the second place team had. So we've really adapted to that kind of playstyle now as well. And we're looking to be much more aggressive and take a lot more fights and kind of get that out there. But yeah, like, I'm proud because we've made that impression, and the boys should be proud of themselves as well.
Absolutely, man. To be able to qualify for Worlds is huge in itself. So getting there, and even for yourself to be able to afford to send the boys over and pay for that, if that comes out of your pocket, or EA or whoever it is. But yeah, it's
50-50 basically.
Yeah, it's quite the experience, man. And so it's an achievement in itself to be able to do that, to be able to achieve that. And that's the positive they have to take from the negative situation there. But that leads me to the next thing, which is like, it's crazy to think that Furia that had the most amount of points to win, and then they just couldn't close it out. They could not close it out, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. They actually said that they didn't really care.
Yeah, they do.
They could have. I mean, yeah, they do. Probably underneath.
You've got to play it. You've got to play it off.
Yeah, and just like, you know, at the same time though, like, they had the chance. Yeah, they had many chances to change their play style and just go for that you know, that match point game and get that win. They didn't need to do much. Like, they were one of the strongest fighting teams there, and that was very obvious. So all they would need to do is change their playstyle, become a defensive team, rotate to the center of the circle, and just chill. Literally just AFK. Yeah, just AFK in a fucking building. Go for the dub. And they had so many chances to do that, but they didn't, because they just wanted to keep running it down, keep killing everyone, keep imposing on the lobby, and get their win that way in the quotations furious style. Yep. And I can respect that, but buddy, that costs you like 200,000.
Yeah,
like that costs you, well, the lion's share of $500,000. Like, you know, if that's what you want to do, sure, but
that's crazy.
Yeah. Do
you get a ring?
Really understand. Do
you get a ring for Worlds? No, dude. Worlds got to step it up.
Trophy and money.
COD League has
rings,
bro. He's fucking sick as.
I did tell the boys that if they got top 3, I'd make them rings. So
okay.
Yeah, but maybe next time, huh?
Exactly, man. Exactly. Back to the point about Thailand and whatnot. I noticed that on the EXO Clan, you guys have is that a Thai dragon on there?
It's Chinese dragon, actually.
Chinese dragon. Okay, yeah. So what's that symbol? What's behind that symbol that inspired you to put that onto the jersey?
It's quite a silly reason. So when I was younger, like in my teens, you know, my friends and I were going through that phase where we were doing like spirit animals and like the animal representation of oneself. And like my friend was a rabbit, my other friend was a lion, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are you?" And then I was dubbed a dragon. And yeah, so from then on, I guess I've just kind of had that, like, I have a necklace here, like my necklace as well is a dragon.
There we go.
Chinese dragon. So that kind of, for those specific jerseys themselves, that's what that kind of was about, was like the dragon is taking flight. And I wanted like the ferocity to come through with that as well, and really like impose, exactly as Furia did in the finals. I wanted to impose on everyone else that we had that power, that we were that type of mythical creature coming out of the mists of a distant land, coming to literally rip you to shreds. Because we wanted to make an impression, and we did.
Yep.
So, like, I mean, the jerseys themselves, a lot of people were giving me so much like praise over the jerseys, and like, you know, a lot of people were like, "You guys have the best jerseys here, like hands down."
Yeah.
So we definitely made that impression as well. So yeah, I think it was kind of a coincidence that there was a dragon on there, because that's just one of the designs I was given, but I kind of refined it, and yeah, I was like, that's the one. Like, we're gonna do this, and with it, and it's gonna be like that, and that's gonna be our jersey. That's the one.
Well, you guys have some of the best sales, or well, looking at it, like aesthetically nice, pleasing jerseys on the market. I know that when we were making some jerseys at Chiefs, you know, you guys we find that we had all the top 5 were all darker jerseys. Everyone likes a darker jersey, and even myself, like doing research about dark screen, light screen debate. I don't know if you've ever had that before.
Yeah, definitely.
When I'm designing as a product owner, I actually took into account what is more popular, and what do you think actually is more popular statistically?
Dark.
Yeah. So dark is
without a doubt.
So 81.9% of people in the globe prefer dark mode over light mode. So how's that for a fun fact?
That's actually insane. A little bit more than I expected, but it makes sense. Like, no one likes to be blinded.
I know. It's insane. Why do people like really bright screens? It's a pain in the ass. Like my missus, when she shows me her phone sometimes, I'm like, what the fuck? In the first thing in the morning?
Turn that down.
Turn that down, honey. But yeah, one of your jerseys was, that one behind you was one that we're like, okay, we got to have a dark jersey and have colors that really stand out, and where the cut. See, the thing about it is the whole psychology behind the color and where your eye goes and the tracking on it and whatnot. So orange makes you feel a different way compared to green, blue, purple, but the dark always, you know, it always amplifies whatever colors on top of it, which is what's happened with you guys with the X and the dragon on there, and the one sleeve which is orange. So yeah, it's kudos to you guys and the design team creating that jersey. It's pretty dope, man. And if you guys want to go check it out, where can they get themselves a jersey for the listeners?
Through True Apparel as well, who we are announcing in like the next 24 hours as a partner, a full-time partner of EXO Clan.
There we go.
So we are moving. Yeah,
we are well ahead. This comes out on Tuesday, so it's well underway. It would have been 48 hours ago that this partnership has happened. So love that. A little bit of an announcement.
There we go. So yeah, through True Apparel, and we will actually. Oh, this will be coming out after it, but we're doing a sale for the announcement of the partnership.
There we go.
But it's only for a day, so that's kind of out of time. My bad.
Shit. Hey, just quickly. I don't know if it's the way you pronounce it, tomato, but is it apparel or apparel? Is that how they?
It's apparel.
Apparel. Okay, because I thought that they. I was talking to Ace about it, and I was saying that. I'm like, now I felt like a dickhead. We I've been calling it apparel the whole time. But no, okay, cool. I'm sweet, man.
No, you're good. I'm a bit of a weird one like that.
Well, you've been to different places on the earth, man. You've been to everywhere, so you pick up accents and shit like that, and you know, little small things and whatnot. But yeah, I feel like you have a pretty cool flow to you as well, man. Like you've got a piercing here on your cheek. You've got a pretty cool like shirt going on. You've got a cool. Have you used that purple in your hair, man?
It's actually really faded out, but my hair's usually silver, just like a dark ashy silver. I haven't. My stylist that does it is, sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. My stylist that does it is just booked out for the next few weeks. So I've had to like book a month and a half in advance, and that's not for another 2 weeks. So I don't have a hair appointment for another 2 weeks. Otherwise it would be shorter, a much more ashy gray, and not so messy. Yeah. Are
you a creative guy outside of esports? Like, do you like art, any cooking, any
I'm
sort
a
of art? There we go. Beautiful, man. What do you play?
I'm a singer, actually.
Okay. I was going to say, hit us a note, but it may not sound good across Discord.
Yeah. No, I'm a metalcore singer as well, actually. So when I was in my teens, I was like in and out of like metalcore bands in Australia. So I was screaming, and that actually kind of fucked up my vocal cords a little bit. So I dropped the screaming, and yeah, I've just been singing since then. And more of a casual thing, because obviously full time in content creation, full time in the esports scene, and I don't really have much time to like push the music side of me anymore. So it's just kind of a thing that I do in private nowadays.
Yeah, it's
but yeah, I write, and maybe one day I'll find the time to be able to jam something together and put some songs out. But until then, the focus is what it is.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, did that? Just a question out of curiosity. Did that piercing hurt on your cheek, like up below your eye?
Nah,
it looks like it hurts.
Bro, the one thing they told me that fucked me up was like, if we pierce in the wrong spot, it could hit a nerve, and that side of your face could become droopy.
Oh.
Like, brother, what do you want me to say to that? Like, oh, fuck no, don't do it. Like,
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
I'm pinching this now, and that hurts. So I don't know how you did that, bro. That fucking hurts, man.
No, I think I used to have a helix up here, and I think that was more painful than my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. Hey, just a quick question about a LAN environment. When your competitors go to LAN environments, they have earphones that you're wearing, right? So the in-ears. And then they have a headset that goes on the top. Can you explain to me and the listeners as well what the point of those two things are? Is the earbuds in-game and that on-top headset the comms, or what is it?
Well, it could be either or, really. The thing with the LAN environment as well is like you have to think about the sound of the crowd, because the crowd is obviously like right there. And when they're cheering, you do need those extra layers of like sound isolation, I guess. So yeah, so one would be dedicated to Discord, one would be dedicated to in-game sound, but those two layers also provide that extra element of isolation from, everything else. So you can really get that like immersion, I guess, into the game and really focus up and kind of dial in with that. Otherwise, you're just hearing people yelling, people screaming, the crowd going wild, the cost is like, and that's just a little too distracting for a $2 million tournament or however much the prize pool is, So yeah, that's basically it. One for Discord, one for game, whichever. It could be the in-ears are in our Discord and the over-ears are the game, or it could be the other way around. But okay, I think it works. There's multiple uses for it. Yeah,
I know at COD Champs, there was. I know it happened a lot of times, but in Search and Destroy in the last grand final, 100 Thieves versus FaZe, there was a lot of times where it was a 1v1 and people were defusing bombs or planting bombs and the crowd would go loud. And they've got the exact same setup. I think they've got rig headsets because of the Activision shit that happened. Astro pulled their partnership and stuff. But they've got the exact same headsets and the players could hear. The players could tell what was happening. But you could also play that to your advantage too. Like do a fakie for a couple of seconds, the crowd gets hype and then bait the person out. So you can kind of play with it a little bit.
You could. That'd be kind of fucked up though. Like
relying on the crowd audio instead of the game audio, bro. How fucked is that?
Exactly. That's not right.
Because there was Draza, I don't know, Draza from 100 Thieves. He was in a 1v1. His girlfriend was screaming when Simp and him were in a 1v1. And he was defusing the bomb. Simp from FaZe was defusing the bomb. And his girlfriend was but everyone did it. But his girlfriend was targeted because it's his girlfriend. And then he won the 1v1 clutch because he obviously knew that he was on the bomb, Simp. So that was fucking wild. But
do you reckon they had like some sort of communication there? Do you reckon they had like premeditated this yell?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't think so.
Whoa.
But for her to stand out over a whole crowd, because she's at the front. But did you watch COD Champs?
I caught a little bit of it, but no, it's not really something I follow a lot of. Like,
that's fair enough.
Watch
the crowd is fucking nuts. Like, it's feral. I love it. I've never been to a COD Champs, but it looks like the most rowdy crowd. A CSGO crowd looks pretty crazy, but a COD tournament, it just looks like feral.
Nuts.
Not bad. But it looks good to be part of. People have drums and shit. They're dressing up and stuff, and it happens everywhere. But yeah, that all happened. I couldn't stop laughing, man, because they were blaming the girlfriend. I'm like, bro, the whole crowd like stood up and whatnot. But did you see the other day on the timeline where Optic trolled about dropping Dashi and Illy?
No.
So do you know obviously those players?
No,
Dashi,
I don't.
Illy, Scump, and Shotzi.
Yeah, I know Scump. Yeah, I mean everyone knows Scump. So,
everyone knows Scump. Oh, I know. Some kids. See, that's the thing. When Scump won the World Series of Warzone, some people didn't know who Scump was. Huh? So, yeah, like young kids, they don't know who he is. They just play Warzone, you know? And even like people our age, assuming you're in your 20s. But
yes,
good guess. But yeah, they trolled me the other day. Illy and Dashi, they dropped one of their two best players, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, absolutely bleeding. 24 hours later, they posted a YouTube content video, and it had them in it, and they said, "We're only trolling. They're staying. They re-signed." I'm like, "Oh, you
mate.
fucking assholes, bro!" I was actually spewing, but I was happy at the same time because I'm like, "Thank God, man," and whatnot. So, but how is it for you as a team owner to try look up to like 100 Thieves, TSM, Optic, Cloud9 to try establish yourself in the scene to be like them?
Coming out of Australia, very hard. I mean, like, that's obviously the goal. The long-term goal is to kind of reach that level. But as an Australian organization, I also kind of realized the limits that had been put out by being part of the Australian esports scene. Obviously, we are a smaller country, like number-wise. So there's only so much media that will go on, and only so many sponsors and partners that would want to work with you, because the money flow there isn't much. The ecosystem of Australian esports is very underwhelming, lackluster at the end of the day, unfortunately. The talent there is insane, but yeah, the eyes on the scene there, not so much. So coming out of Australia, quite a difficult thing to realistically want to, just realistically achieve that level. So I think that's another thing that I've wanted to kind of dip my toes into with the international move for EXO, was kind of pushing outside the borders of Australia and bringing it to the next level. I mean, I didn't want to have to play like the same teams all the time in Valorant or whatever other sport we went into. I wanted to be able to have like an easy path to Worlds. Not an easy path to Worlds, but like a direct path to Worlds. I wanted to be able to just bring these players out of APAC in general into a really competitive circuit. And I'm not saying that OCE is not competitive. Absolutely it is. But it's more so, it's competitive with the same 8 teams.
Yep.
Like over and over again, the same names. You know, there's like 40 odd players that are just being traded between teams, and even upcoming teams are just not the level of, like, the high end of OC players, esports players is nuts. But I feel like there's not enough care for like the next generation of players for certain games.
Yep.
So I feel like it's a slow moving scene, and it's kind of a limited scene. So as an Australian team, yeah, it's a bit difficult to see yourself on that level, but you know, I want to do the things that kind of make that possible for us and be able to pull those Australian teams still. You know, a team like Renegades, for example, from in CSGO, absolutely went nuts and blew up because of that, and then they moved international. So I kind of looked at that and was like, you know, if I could pull something similar here, then that might be the ticket. That might be the cause. You know.
Yep.
So I want to outgrow Australia.
Absolutely. You want to be the big fish.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I want to be the Megalodon, man.
A fucking Megalodon. You seen that movie?
No.
Haven't you? With Jason Statham?
I'm uncultured, bro. Leave me alone.
It's actually pretty good, man. That with Jason Statham.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. No, I have seen that one. Yeah, I have. I'm tripping. I'm hard tripping, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a pretty good movie. If you guys have seen it, leave me like a out of 10 rating that you guys would think it would be in the YouTube comments. But I can't really remember back to it. I'd probably give it like a 7 or a 6 out of 10. But it was a good watch. Like, it was good to kill some time. Yeah, I liked it, man. I'm rating it pretty hard, and this is like off my memory that I didn't really remember too much of it, but it was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Jason Statham in it. Like, I might be a little bit biased towards Statham. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He's just a Chad.
Bit of a cool dude. Bit of a cool dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to be like that when I'm 40 or 50 years old. You know? That'd be sick.
He's pretty jacked. He
is, yeah.
Bro, you're fucking pretty jacked, man. You are vascular as like Arnold in his prime, bro. Like, Holy shit, man. If you put on like even like 30 kilos, imagine you, bro. You'd be like fucking Ziz, man. Holy shit. You work out much?
Yeah, I do actually every day here at home, and then once a week or twice a week I go see my PT.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we've been working with that. I've been doing that for about like 9 months. And prior to esports and like being a YouTuber and a streamer, I was just a sporting person in general.
Yeah.
I've actually only been playing video games for about 4.5 years.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay, man. So with your home workouts, what does that consist of compared to going to the PT?
It's just like targeting the things that I really want to build up on, which is like at the moment like glutes, arms, chest, shoulders. My core has always been something that's really, really strong. It's like a cheese grater, mate.
Washboard, bro. You can washboard
exactly.
in the river.
Exactly. So it's really just like a lot of bench work, and a lot of work that I can do kind of on my own. And yeah, it's about half an hour every day, and usually I'll be able to like watch something while I do it or something, so I can kind of just tie my home workouts into whatever else I'm doing.
Yep.
Whether that's like doing VOD reviews or whether that's sitting in Discord speaking to my partner. Once again, a long distance relationship. We don't talk about it. Forget I ever said that.
How many long distance relationships do you have, man? Holy shit, bro.
Too many, bro. Too many.
What's going on?
It's the world, bro. I don't know. Like, it's cool people live in other places, and it fucking sucks. But no,
man.
I spent a month with her. Like, I just came back from seeing her, so
yeah.
And I'm going back in a few weeks to see her again.
Hey, you reckon she's the one? Oh, no, it's early days. It's honeymoon stage.
It's early fucking days, man.
Very early.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think, man? I know you probably have to give in case she listens, you have to give like a full. I don't know. You can say between.
I think I don't know, like there's coming out of my old relationship, there's like a lot of shit that I learned there, and a lot of shit that I kind of look for in other people now.
Yeah.
And that's of course why I wouldn't change what I did. Yeah. So like she ticks all these boxes that I'm looking for. And there are of course things that she doesn't do, but we can work on. And as long as we can work on those things and move forward and be able to like do that level-headed and not like hold any resent or negative emotions or animosity toward each other, then I think it could work out. Like I can see myself with her for, the foreseeable future. Cool. She also she does a lot for me. She's very supportive. She even like ties into a lot of like lifestyle parts that are parts of me that I wouldn't really put out there publicly. Yep. Like, the behind the scenes me. And she kind of accepts that and works with it, and kind of pushes me to be me. And that's something that I haven't really experienced, and that might sound stupid, but I don't think my past relationships have been the greatest example of relationships. But for the first time, I've met someone that pushes me to be me.
That's great, man.
I love that. Yeah,
that's good. It's what everyone seeks in a good partner. When you get together with someone, it's all fun and games in the first 6 to 12 months and whatnot. But once you move past that, you kind of understand the characters and all that type of stuff. When you see behind the facade, if there's anything there, which you hope not. But yeah, a relationship's about two people that can come together and they can respect each other how they are. They don't want to change them, and they want to work together as a team. Prime example is like, one of my buddies, who does listen to this podcast, so he'll know this straight away. He goes, he just had a baby, right? And congratulations to him. And he feels, as far as I know, he feels bad going to work, and then he's not looking after his child and whatnot. I'm like, man, you're putting a meal on the table by going to work whilst your missus is at home cleaning and looking after you're raising your child. Like, you're doing a great job. You're doing maybe
doing your part
more. You're doing your part, and that's the part of the team. It's like on a footy field or on a soccer field. It's those small 1%ers that all add up, and you're both doing the same thing. It's just when one person's doing more than the other, that's when tension happens, or financially, when financial difficulties arise, that's when it can raise some tension in relationships and whatnot, and all that type of stuff, man. So they're kind of the ones that kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back, the financial stuff, when you really become an adult and whatnot, and all that type of shit. Like having a child, man, like that shit costs like $1 million statistically.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's crazy, man. To have a fucking kid, you're like, oh, I want to have some more spawn. So it's going to cost me over $1 million. That's just nuts. Like, it's crazy. You want to have one when you're young so you can kick the footy with them when they're 20 or when they're older and stuff, and so your leg doesn't fall off. But it's just, everything's been pushed back so far, and it's hard to have a kid nowadays as well. From what I'm hearing with IV and all that type of shit, it's fucking crazy, man. It is absolutely nuts.
That it is. Yeah. I mean, it's. I don't think a lot of people realize like the amount of pressure they put themselves under for the future when they have a child. Like, especially as you were saying, in today's age, like the economy is just going up as well. So it's just going to cost more and more to raise a kid, and you want to give them the best life that you can. And I think doing that is becoming harder and harder because, unfortunately, the best life you can give them requires a lot of money. And then there's also like the thought about like if you can give them that, they're gonna become spoiled and they might become bad people. And I don't know. It's just like
it's a hard line, isn't it? It's a hard line. It is like fine line.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And not many people have good balance. Yeah. So it's definitely difficult. And I think with the amount of media consumption nowadays as well, I don't think you can really have much say over what your child will come out like.
Yep.
They have so many influences going on around them. And I think all you can do is just care for them and make sure they're okay and kind of let them go off on their own venture. And I mean, maybe not physically, but in finding themselves, etc. But yeah, it's a tough time to have a child.
Oh, absolutely. And then, raising the kid, this generally comes up every few podcasts, but raising a kid is tough nowadays because the child, it gets bullied all the time. If it's prone to bullying, they get bullied when they're at school, and then they get bullied at home because of all these smart devices that we have. They can't get away from it, and then if they're a girl, they're seeing all these TikToks with chicks in their tits and ass going around everywhere, and like, do they be fat or do they be skinny, or do you just be like the normal size? And then you've got these body pressures of posting pictures everywhere to be accepted, and then on the other thing you got blokes, it's like, oh, these ripped guys, and if you can't really spot it, then you can't spot it. But yeah, they're taking drugs and making themselves look beefier and whatnot, but then they're doing that without knowing the consequences of doing that. And then just all that's just image. And then you've got to have like, oh well, I've got to be an influencer, I've got to be rich as fuck, I've got to be this, I've got to have this car, and it just keeps going, man. It just keeps going, and to keep up with it is fucking nuts, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a lot of people don't really like take that into account. Like maybe our generation does, because we kind of grew up at the birth of all that type of media.
Yeah.
But for the kids that are kind of like born into it, they don't really have that awareness to the influence that all this media around them it has on them, and it's very unhealthy. It's so fucking unhealthy, man. Like, just be you. And it's very hard to find a younger child or a younger teen that's proud of being themselves.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up. Like, that's fucked up, man. That's not right. And there's literally nothing we can do about it. Even if we make these future generations aware of this influence that all this media has over them, it's not going to do anything because their friends are still doing the same thing. The people they look up to are still doing the same thing. Like, it's a fucked up world. And I think happiness is kind of hard to come by for a lot of younger kids nowadays. And it must be tough. It must be tough for them, like kind of going through that world and unknowingly being pressured to become something that maybe they're not, or maybe they don't really want to be in their subconscious, Yeah, it's fucking tough. And on top of that, you have also like all the problems with the world. I mean, even outside of politics, like we're talking like natural, the world itself is falling into fucking shambles. Like, global warming is not a myth. Wow. Who would have thought? But like, the world's like falling apart. The world's becoming more fucked up. Media's fucking everything up as well. Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, what are the future generations meant to do? Like, just suffer? Like, you know that meme? Why are we here? Just to suffer?
Yep.
Yeah, you fucking are. Deal with it. Like that's literally being born into this world is that at the moment. Unless you have like strong enough parents to be able to kind of push you in the right direction and or even someone to look up to push you in that direction as well, where you can steal your mental and just be you, you know, and just get out there and, as I say, chase the fucking dragon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you're growing up nowadays, it is difficult with all those things in your face, and so I feel like a lot of kids are probably lacking creative ability, because you know how, like, for me, for example, I used to love running around in the sand pit with fucking excavator trucks and just putting sand in there, driving around. Tonka trucks, bro. Yeah, Tonka was the dope as. Like doing that stuff, that was me. You know, I'd run around, make truck noises. I'd still happily do that now. That's just me. Like, I just don't give a shit. Look, with me, man, I really don't care. Like, if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. I can't be everyone's. And that's probably the mentality that people need to adapt a bit. They need to just, who cares about that shit? Just go for it. You know, be what you want, do what you want. Don't hurt others. Just don't preach to me why I'm not like you. If you know what I mean. Just don't tell me what I fucking should be. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the world, man. It's crazy, bro. It's fucking crazy. And then all these trends are going on, and like, whoever invented TikTok, brilliant idea. That's have you read the T's and C's of that thing? That thing's like the Trojan horse. Have you seen how TikTok is the Trojan horse on your device?
I've seen it for what China's doing with it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you don't know what they're really doing with it. So, dude, TikTok is like this thing, right? Where it understands your keystrokes, it understands your location, it understands what you do, what you look at, how long you scroll for, tracks your eyes, all that type of shit. Like, it takes everything into account. So this thing sends all that data back to China. And even, this is another thing that I've read as well, is that if you have it on your phone and you're using a laptop next to it, apparently it can still pick that up of what you're doing on your laptop to understand all your keystrokes there as well. Now, I don't know how they do that. This is just what I've heard and what I've done a little bit of research into, even if you don't have it installed on that laptop. But it's fucking nuts. And this is all going back to China, bro. Like, I'm telling you, it's the Trojan horse of apps. It's the best thing ever. It's the greatest big horse, a gift, which is quick, fast entertainment. But really, inside the underlying things is that. The keystroke, the ability to track everything that you do, to really break down every human from every country that has it on their phone. Is your mind blown right now?
Is it bad that I kind of like that? I kind of like it. It's a massive invasion of privacy, but if that's the case, man, like, fucking genius.
Oh, it's great. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, I mean, people are probably going to be angry at me for this opinion, but like, fuck yeah, that's nuts. Like, it's not the right thing to do by any means, but you brisk over the terms and conditions. You don't give a fuck about them, and that's why you read them, I guess. But that's nuts.
It's fucking wild, bro. Wild.
Holy shit! Like, kind of genius. Yeah, I respect whoever programmed that.
I don't know how they came up with it, man. Like, who thought of quick videos? You know, the average view time for someone, the attention span for someone is, well, actually, let's have a guess. What do you reckon it is? The average attention span of someone.
I mean, what generation are we talking?
We're talking, let's talk overall. Overall. This is the stat for overall. The nowadays people.
30 seconds?
No, mate, lower. Divide that by 10.
5. But 20 seconds.
No, divide 30 by 10. 3.
Oh, I thought you said lower it by 10.
No.
3 seconds.
3 seconds, man.
Actual goldfish.
It's fucking nuts, eh?
That's fucked. Nuts.
Most people wouldn't have even made it to this 54-minute mark in the podcast.
No wonder everyone thinks they have ADHD, man.
No, they would have. Oh, no, dude, that's the next big thing, bro. Like, everyone's like, oh, I have ADHD. I'm like, yeah, that's great, bro. Like, Let me have it too. I'll fucking get my disabled sticker so I can park in the good parking spots. Like, holy shit, man. You know, everyone seems to have it. Everyone has a little bit of in them. You know what I mean? Everyone.
Yeah.
With that hyper attention thing to them. It kind of, it's a bit of an advantage to a degree. Like, it makes you real fucking dialed in on something, you know? You got that, like, addictive personality and stuff. You can really use that to your advantage. Although, it can be something that is detrimental to you as well. Like, you can get onto the wrong things and you can lead down a very dark way. But if you use it to your advantage, you can be anywhere. You can do anything depending on what your limitations are and what your boundaries are. You can really push it for sure.
I mean,
you go.
On the topic of dark things there, I mean, that's something that I think, I guess, okay, it's interesting. Like, this is like a complete topic switch, so I think maybe we can reach this soon, unless we're like running out of time here.
Oh, let's go for it. Go for it now, man.
Yeah, no, it just it kind of brings up a story that I have wanted to get out there about me. And like, I didn't come into this with the intention of speaking about it at all. But I have reached out to like some columns and esports writers, et cetera, to try kind of get the story out there. But it's kind of like a reiteration of the underdog story. I was actually homeless from 16 to 19.
Damn.
I was, I had a fallout with my parents, and they kicked me out at the time.
Wow.
I'm very good with them now. Much love to them. Of course, everyone makes mistakes. That's all sorted. But I went into like a very dark pit in that time of my life, and that kind of led me to this like kind of hopeless stage where I kind of just went the way that things happened. I kind of just went with the flow. So when he said to me like the dark and the addictive personality, like, I've been there. Like, I haven't obviously like been addicted to hard drugs, etc. But it's like, I was a very involved in like the not so nice side of the world for quite a large chunk of my life there, about 5 years. And I came out of that not really sure where I was going or what I was doing, not really sure with my goals. Like, before that, I was, a straight A student. I was making state teams for sporting. I was like, a model student, basically, in the early years of high school. And like, I was a house captain, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I was doing things. And then my whole like life kind of turned around. And I came to this like this hopelessness stage, and I was just kind of floating around. And once I got myself out of this, like, I don't know what to call it. It's, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it is really like just like gang activity. That's all it is. And once I got myself out of that circuit, I was very lost, very hopeless, very unsure of where I was going to go, what I was going to do. I was taking everything a day at a time. And it's actually gaming that saved me. So my best friend at the time, I was just kind of couch surfing with him, and he bought me a laptop, and I kind of started getting lost in games, and everything kind of grew from there. I started learning how to edit. I started like practicing games, like using the kind of academic mind that I had from that part of my life prior to this dark segment of it, to become really good at these games. And I had this natural talent and this cognition I had as well, like this really fast cognition, the ability to take information and create something better out of that information and respond to a situation with that information, the entire like basis of cognition, and become very good at like these games I put down. And I made a career out of it. And I think the reason I want to like spread that story and tell people that story, while I'm not proud of a lot of the things that I did or the things that happened, is because never give up, man. Like, that's fucking it. Like, never give up hope. Like, never stop and be like, this is it. Like, I can't do it. Because the change comes. Like, things will work out as long as you keep pushing forward and you keep your head up and you keep your eyes forward and you chin strong and you just fucking move on. You just keep fucking moving. Like, that's exactly it. Guy went from hopeless to living the dreams of so many kids out there nowadays, like something that I didn't even dream of because I didn't think it was possible. Like, I didn't think that I would be in this career. Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would never have thought I would be where I am today. And while I might not be like the biggest in the world, like content or even my org in general, I'm proud. I'm so fucking proud of where I am. So fucking proud that I've had the influence on people's lives I have, even through YouTube, like putting smiles on people's faces. Like people come in my chat on Twitch and they say to me all the time, like, like, thank you so much for making the content you do. You give me a laugh every time I need a laugh. I can go and watch a channel and I'm losing my shit. And I'm just like, that makes me happy. Like the amount of influence I can have, and knowing that I can put smiles on people's faces, it honestly like fucks me up as to like how much shit has changed for me in that sense. I used to live a life where I had to look over my shoulder every day and I had to make sure I was safe before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And now I'm playing video games, talking to people that look up to me and admire me, and that's just still so surreal to me, man. And I want to kind of make a push out of it as well to help people with their mental, because as long as you're moving and as long as you're doing the right thing and you're trying to be the best person you can be, the good will come, the change will come. You just need to keep pushing in the right direction. Don't give up.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I think that taking from that, the big thing from that is that you can't, you spend a little bit of time, you feel sorry for yourself, as we all do, but you've got to move forward. You've got to move forward.
Yeah.
If you stay sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, no one's going to come pick you up. You got to rely on yourself. So pick yourself up, no matter where you are, and just take those baby steps, crawl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take those steps and push yourself in the right direction, and you can get to where you really want to be, or part of the way on that goal, that journey of yours that you want to be at, to ultimately happiness, which is obviously what you're doing now. You've got your hair done, you've got piercings, you've got a cool necklace, you've got a pretty cool org behind you as well, with a fucking cool ass dragon and shit. And you're loving life, man. You're traveling the world, and you've got another long distance relationship, man. So like looking back at it, man, like it's just like shit, man. You wouldn't have become the person, the gentleman you are today, without the hard doings prior to that. And it makes you appreciate things a little bit more as well.
Exactly. Puts things like into perspective. Exactly. Yeah. Like I've seen both sides of the world, so I can appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And so I don't want to give you PTSD, but like being homeless, like what was it like? Where do you get blankets and pillows and shit from? And where do you sleep? How do you pitch a spot without, like, you were young? Like, I don't want to talk about it too deep, but like, you're prone and susceptible to people coming and doing things to you as well.
It was more difficult because the government made it more difficult. So like finding places to sleep in like the city was something quite hard to do, and it wasn't just the safety side of it. It was like, if you found like a nice warm spot, you could be guaranteed there's probably a camera facing it, and the cops will rock up 30 minutes later and tell you to fuck off.
Yep.
I would often use like my bag as my pillow, or just have my jacket as a blanket. I'd only go through like a couple of hours. I don't think I managed to like have a deep sleep anytime I was actually on the street sleeping, but being out there all the time helped me make friends. So I was like on a couch one night, and then in a park the next night, and then on a couch again, and then so it was like always backwards and forwards. And it felt bad for me because I had a conscience about it, of course. So I didn't want to like impose on people. So I often did put myself in the situation where I didn't have anywhere to stay that night, because I just wanted to, I guess, give my friends a break from my existence, and like not feel like I was imposing on them. But yeah. I think when I said like making sure that I was safe sleeping, it wasn't so much the homeless side of it. Like the thing about being a homeless teen is that anyone else that sees you out there feels sorry for you. So while you may think, you see a young person on the street, someone could rob them or something like that. In Australia, I don't think it was that bad. Like maybe in America that could happen, but in Australia, it was like a level of safety, I guess, just being out there. And like falling asleep on a park bench, I never had an issue with anyone stealing my shit unless it was someone my own age. And if that was the case, it was easier to deal with.
So you were homeless in Australia?
Yes.
What state?
Brisbane. I was in Brisbane. So Queensland, but I was in Brisbane City. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So it wasn't a bad place to be homeless in, not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change it, man. I learned what I learned. It's life.
That's fair enough, man. I did when I was at school, we had a charity that was attached to our house, and so I was heavily involved. School house captain to house captain, man. Heavily involved with the Good Shepherd Foundation, if you've heard of them, for homeless people.
I actually haven't. No.
So generally they always do like food trucks and all that type of stuff for the homeless and supply food and shelter and whatnot. And it's a great foundation. If you guys want to go donate to it, feel free to at the Good Shepherd Foundation. They're doing some great stuff there. But yeah, to raise awareness, we do food trucks for people, and we also did like at school. It was pretty cool. Like it's novelty, but we slept out in the schoolyard overnight, and on just a piece of cardboard or tarp or whatever, and had a pillow and a sleeping bag, and that's it. Obviously, that's a bit luxury, but yeah, we just did it just to kind of feel the elements a little bit without a tent, and yeah, kind of put it a little bit into perspective. But you can understand that. When you're homeless, you're young, you don't have direction there. There's not really smartphones too much easily to possess back when you were homeless and whatnot. So direction-wise, it was a little bit difficult for you, but it would be scary, man. It's fucking scary. I know how heavily I rely on my parents whenever I ask them, "Oh fuck, is it cold outside, mum and dad? Do I wear a jacket?" Shit like that. Like I couldn't imagine being homeless, man. It's just it's crazy, man. So the come up of yourself is quite an impressive story. It's admirable, but it's not one that you want to be in to really come out of again, because you really want to be not in that position to start with.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I can't imagine the hardship that you would have gone through to go through that stage and whatnot.
I think the main hardship was the mental side of it.
Yeah.
Like for me at the time, it was just the position I was in, and I was just dealing with it, living it, and it was what it was, like quite literally at the time. But the things I didn't realize were the mental scars and etc. that I would have gained from it. So yeah, I think it was just entirely mental. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's cool, man. You've definitely seen some shit. You've seen some shit. You've seen some bad shit. You've been through shit. But you wouldn't be where you are today without it, which is the weird part about it. Putting into perspective. You're like, dude, I was homeless and now I'm a founder and CEO of the EXO Clan. But look, man, how are you guys going anyway as the EXO Clan? Like, how is it now being in the position you are, being the leader of that team, and this being your full-time job?
Honestly, like awesome. I've met some really cool people through it. I have a lot of support, and we have a lot of support in general, as like even just as a small team, because at the end of the day, that's what we still are. Maybe in Australia, we're a larger team, but we're not just Australian anymore. We're in a really good spot at the moment. A lot of things are looking quite good for the future, and this is where I feel right now, unless something comes in and just fucks everything up, because the world can be like that sometimes. I think this is just the start of going up.
Sweet as, man.
I think you can speak to me in like 2 years from now, and you'll be like, "What the fuck happened?" And I'll be like, "Rocket ship to the moon." Like,
hey, we'll touch base. I'll get you back on. I haven't had anyone back on the podcast for a second time, so we can definitely do that. I want to hit at least 50. And then recycle, go for a bit of a recycle stage, and then also expand on the guest list and whatnot. And also, if there's any guests or players that you think that would be great on this podcast that have never been on a podcast before, let me know, man. I'd love to get them on and whatnot. I've had some big personalities on, from sport to influencers to I might land a guy that might be an entrepreneur, self-made. I don't know. I'll see, but he's cool. Saw him on TikTok. But yeah, it doesn't have to be in the esports scene, which is cool.
Okay, no,
so I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'll expand a bit. Go for it.
Fuck it.
Why not? Don't bottleneck myself.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Like literally, like that's what you need to do. You need to just like spread those wings, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So
chase the dragon.
Where do you see yourself in, oh, I guess you said 2 years time, but where do you see yourself in 5 years, man?
Honestly, I hope that I found somewhere where I can settle down, where I can build an actual life, because
Yep.
that's the negative about bouncing from place to place all the time and literally being quite nomadic. It's because I don't have that certain stability. So hopefully somewhere, I mean, if I haven't done it in 5 years, what the fuck am I doing? But hopefully somewhere I've settled down, whether I have a partner, whether I don't have a partner, you know, I'd like to eventually start a family, and continue doing what I'm doing. So, you know, I would love for my stream to blow up more, because I love that interactivity. I love like that kind of schedule I have with streaming and content creation. I would love EXO Clan to be an overbearingly large Megalodon, and just be comfortable.
Absolutely.
That's where I see myself in 5 years. Comfortable.
Yeah, sweet. That's good, man. With this week gone by with Order actually having to go into administration, you would have seen all over Twitter and stuff. How do you see yourself with EXO understanding shit with you're like, shit, how do I delegate to make sure that we're not going to be in that position as well?
I think for me, I feel like it's I'm in an alright position with that. I mean, someone that works with me a lot and kind of works with our money is actually my father. So he was a banker, so I've kind of given him the role of treasurer. As I said, my relationship with my parents nowadays is, you know, perfect, pristine. So I think having him there handling our money and making sure it's going to the right places and doing the right things is very important, very good, because I trust him entirely. And the people that I work with as well, like my COO and all my managers, etc. I have trust for them. You know, I don't think that's going to be a situation that we'll find ourselves in. The one thing I do have to say though is that from this situation with Order, the Australian esports economy is going to switch. It's going to change. It's going to change immensely, because not many other organizations have the money that Order did to be able to put into those teams. So that begs the question, what are those teams going to do next? Who's going to try pick them up, and for how much? The economy of Australian esports is going to change, and it's going to more so match the viewership of Australian esports. Yes, that's what I think with this entire situation. Like, I hate that it happened for Order. I hate that people have lost their jobs and you know, lost their home as well in some sense within esports. But it's a massive change, and I think it's going to kind of, I guess, hold the horses on Australian esports a little bit.
Yep.
And that might make some other organizations or even other broadcast organizations try to switch things up, try to reach a little bit further. So this could either make or break Australian esports in multiple ways. And I don't mean that like instantly, as in it's going to be a domino effect.
Yep.
You know, it's gonna slowly pile up, and yeah, I'm excited to see where Australian esports goes from here. Yeah, a lot's going to change, I think, with the Australian esports economy.
I think that there's a lot of opportunity to be made from Order going into administration. I believe that they will be picked up, which is great. At Chiefs, being a Chiefs creator, they were definitely our biggest rival in the space, which was amazing. It's the best. Having yourself a rival like that is probably the best and healthiest thing for the ecosystem, because what it does is not really so much on the financial side, but it helps with sponsors that are wanting to enter the space. So when you have opposition, you create that healthy rivalry in the space. So let's say, for example, we both have Optus as our sponsors, but let's say that we have Optus at Chiefs and they get Telstra, and we have Red Bull and they get Monster, and we have L'Oreal and then they get who's another hair stylist brand, but you know what I mean?
Garnier.
Yeah, there we go, Garnier, something like that. There we go. So yeah, you're getting that rivalry happening in the sponsorships as well. And then what that does is that instead of just having the one sponsor for everyone, you've got already, just from there, you've got 6 sponsors, 3 from each side. Yeah. And that allows other companies to see that happening And they're like, wow, we want to be part of that movement too, and be in it in the infancy, so then we can be a leader in the industry and really influence these. I guess majority of us are young men, and influence these young men to use our products or our platforms. So it really is. It is a shame about Order. I've always said it's great to have that rivalry, and I've always stood by. Whilst we have that, that rivalry that we said, oh, you suck, now you suck, and all that type of stuff, which is the funny banter and whatnot. It's great to have them there to be able to say that you suck backwards and forwards, which is great. I love that. That's the healthy environment. I really do believe that they will be picked up again though.
I hope so.
Not they won't be raising $5.2 million to spend or whatever it was in a year, or an astronomical amount of cash that they were giving out to player teams or projects for content or whatever else they were doing, which is something to be learned, which is good for everyone else in the esports scene to learn and understand and see, well, we can't do that. We've got to take smaller steps to make sure that whilst it's a short-term gain for, I guess, the players and possibly the staff that were on that pay and to live that life, now it's long-term pain instead of from that short-term gain. But moving forward, I'm really hopeful for them.
I wish them the best, and I hope they find another good home to be with. I mean, it's a sad to see situation, absolutely. And even knowing how it happened,
I'm not really super across it. So maybe that you could tell me that off camera.
Yeah. I think that's.
But yeah,
I mean, it's not like I know all the ins and outs, but the general.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It was definitely a sad day for Aussie esports. And the negative from it is the poor people that have lost their jobs. My heart goes out to definitely them and their families. If they're a main income worker and whatnot, but also their futures as well. I'm sure that they'll find a space because everyone in the community seems to be very humble and loyal and wanting to keep these people in the space because they're passionate. Because there's a lot of people that want to be part of the space, but they don't want to do the hard work for it. And the people that ought to let go would have been some of the people that work really hard and deserve to be in the space for sure. So definitely my heart goes out to you guys at Order Gaming that were affected by it. But
absolutely,
it's a brighter future. When one door closes, multiple open.
Another one opens.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. So that's what you make of it. Absolutely what you make of it, man. Dude, we're coming pretty much to the end of the podcast, man. Is there anything else that you want to discuss or go over before I wrap it up?
No, I mean, I think we've covered quite a lot, honestly. I know a lot of things I didn't expect to be. I didn't even know what to think when I came into this, man. I was like, what are we doing? What's going on? But yeah, I mean, nah. You yourself seem like a great guy, man. I wish I was still in Australia so we could catch up, get a beer or something. Maybe I'll be back there in the future, and we can do that. Yeah, man. So thanks for inviting me. It's been good. It's been good. It's now, holy fuck, it's an hour and a half in.
Yeah,
wow.
We've been into it. Yeah, we're into it. But yeah, that's the thing, man. Like the hardest part for me is just getting people onto the podcast. And once we chat and kick back and stuff, it's literally a kickback conversation. There's no topic that we have to stand by. There's no run sheet. There's none of that. It's just purely. It's just chat, man. That's all it is. And people that are listening right now, they're getting education as well as myself. Because I'm curious, man. I get fucking curious. Like that's why I want to get these random people that have nothing to do with esports on the podcast. Because I'm like, I'm genuinely curious how you made your first million. I'm curious about how you got your first million followers as well. I'm curious about how you're an entrepreneur. How did you do it? All those things. Yeah. So it's just what I'm interested in. And the crowd, if they want to listen to it, they listen to it, man. And that's pretty much it, dude. It's just a
absolutely
vibe. Not asking too hard fucking questions, but we can. but that's pretty much it, man. It's just whatever we enjoy. Just go with the flow. That's just how it is, man.
That's sick, though, man. That's sick. Definitely puts people in like this little like comfort lull as well. Like that's dope. It's literally just like sitting down and, as I said, having a beer with a friend. Like that's it.
I wish we could, man. If I could, if in the perfect world, I'd fly people out. We'd have a beverage. We'd sit across the desk from each other and we'd chat. That would be the ideal world.
Maybe one day, man. You got to
I'm
spread
early
those
days.
wings.
I'm early days. We got to spread the latissimus dorsis, bro. I'm gonna drink some more Red Bulls too, and whatnot. But look, man, it's been great having you on board. Thank you so much for your time. I, as well as everyone listening, wish you all the best with your clan and whatnot. Obviously, you guys are spiraling upwards, which is fantastic. One of the best esports jerseys out there on the market as well. But everyone, ladies and gentlemen, EXO's details and socials will be linked in the bios below on YouTube, Instagram. It'll be everywhere. If you guys want to keep up to date with the socials, though, make sure to check it out. This will be available on YouTube at JackoGFreak. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about the podcast episode and who you want next week. Leave it a thumbs up on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube as well. Obviously, don't dislike that shit, okay? And leave a rating as well.
Yeah, that's cringe, man.
You can leave a rating, ladies and gentlemen, on these audio websites, okay? So check that shit out. Or if you want to check it out on anywhere else, audioboom.com/GFreak speaks. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Remember, be safe, stay swell, and as always, boom baby. Peace.